Did you know that tracking your food can actually start to create some issues? Let me explain. Now, it's really common on a weight loss journey to track the amount of food that you're eating, and I'm not saying that's fundamentally wrong. However, as an eating psychology coach, I often see a really clear pattern in clients that I work with around this topic. When you track food, you believe you're doing it to help you have more control around eating, correct? However, how many times have you found yourself in a bit of a sabotage loop whereby you've ended up falling off plan, you've eaten something that you shouldn't, and you then spiral into shame and guilt, and then the attitude tends to be, oh, fuck it, I'm going to carry on eating. If you have, let me know below the video, because now I want to explain to you why that's actually happened, and it's to do with tracking your food. I'm going to make some assumptions to explain this. I'm going to assume that the foods that you're currently tracking, you believe from your diet brain that they are the good foods, the healthy foods, and the foods that you're allowed to eat. Meaning if you eat anything that isn't perceived as being good, healthy, or right, you perceive that you've just made a massive mistake and you have somehow failed. And you probably also don't track that either. Now, from an eating psychology point of view, what then actually happens is your brain starts to freak out because it believes that you've just done something fundamentally and morally wrong, which you haven't, by the way. You've just eaten something that you probably wanted to eat. And then that becomes the start of the cycle. In eating psychology, it's called the binge guilt cycle. You probably end up eating said thing, you then feel guilty for it, you then overeat said thing, and it can slip into binge behaviour. And then that leads to a very typical pattern of going around and around and around in a spiral until you start again, probably on Monday morning. How we start to break that pattern is actually by looking at your need to track food in the first place, because there is a different way of doing it. If you want to know what the different way is, comment the word workshop below this video and I will send you access to 3 free workshops that explain everything in far more detail than I can right here in this very short video. Oh, and by the way, make sure that you're following. I've got loads of tips and advice on how you can have a normal relationship with food, lose weight, keep it off forever.